Man, it's just always in the way. Go away. I don't know about y'all, but March, it's about to be a good month. I had a cup of coffee this morning. Don't tell anyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's pick a card reading, an actual pick a card, not pick a deck, we are going to be doing your March predictions, forecast, whatnot, what to look out for in March. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So we have 4 piles here. We have pile 1 with this smoky quartz. We have pile 2 with this citrine. Pile 3 with this angel aura quartz, I think? I don't know. I never know what the last word is. I know there's 3 words to that one, but you know. And then pile 4 with this tiger's eye. So yeah, that's really all I can say for the intro, I guess. But you know, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like the vibe here. If you like this place, and if you're returning, thank you. You guys make me so happy, literally. But yeah, I think that's all I have for the intro. If you've already chosen your pile, you know, see you at your reading. But if you want to listen to me ramble for an extra minute or two, then hi, y'all. Okay, so I had coffee this morning, and I only had 1 packet. It's like these tubes of coffee. I don't know how to explain it, but I had 1 packet instead of 2. And on top of that, I ate something first because I remember my bestie's sister was like, you know, it's like easy to get addicted to coffee, but I think that one way to really like alleviate that is to not let it be the first thing that hits your stomach in the morning. I was like, you're correct. So let me eat a Cliff Bar first. And by the way, y'all, if y'all don't like white chocolate, do not get the white chocolate macadamia nut Cliff Bars. They're just not good. They're edible, you know, like I'll eat them. I won't throw a fit or nothing, but it's just like I've tried the chocolate ones first and I was just like, wow, these are pretty far. And then I tried the macadamia nut ones. And I was like, girl, these aren't as good. If you do like white chocolate or like macadamia nut, you know, you'll probably like that one. Those are the only 2 flavors I've tried so far because I just got into them and I need to try all the flavors before I chalk up any assumptions. But yeah, and I don't know about y'all, but like February is just like, this is the slowest I've ever had a February go by. Like usually it takes like 15 years. Or no, usually like February passes by in like 3 seconds and then March, like it's weird because it goes like January, February, March. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, I just don't understand. And I remember one time I was talking to my friend and she was like, I can't believe February is Black History Month. Like, they really gave us the shortest month. And I was like, oh, you know, I didn't say anything because it's not my right to speak on it. But I was just like shook because like she wasn't incorrect, you know? But there's obviously probably some significance behind that. That's just me though. I need to educate myself first of all. And yeah. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And I'll see you at your reading. See you there. Hello, pile 1. If you chose this smoky quartz, this is going to be your reading for your March. So, your March forecast. So, we actually have a few different oracle cards here. So excited to do your reading. You don't even know. I'm excited to do everyone's reading because I loved all of them. I feel like March is going to be a collectively good month. But anyways, let's get right into it. So for your oracle cards, we have number 30, Love with the Tomato. Y'all see why I was excited? And then we have Good Things and Cornucopia. So right off the that pile one, I know you can read. I know you see this. Like, as much as I would like to sit here and like ladle feed you like BS and be like, oh my god, like March is gonna be like a great month. But like that's really what I'm picking up on here. Obviously, I do feel as if though, to be completely transparent, there may be some friction in this month, and I do feel as if though that March is gonna be a very rewarding month. But I feel like the rewards will kind of be something that you gradually reap and something that like you kind of notice when you look back on March. I feel like during March it'll be kind of like turbulent and maybe a little bit like overwhelming because with the good things in cornucopia, these are good cards, obviously, like that's the vibe. But also I do think that there is such thing as an overwhelm of good things. You know what I mean? When you have like a bunch of options on the table and you're like, oh my gosh, which one do I choose? You know, it's like going to a candy store and it's just like, wow, all of these look good. Which ones do I choose? And I feel like in that, right, there's going to be some friction in March. It makes me think of like a square aspect in astrology where it's like there's friction, there's like, you know, like it seems as if though there's a fire under your arse and you know, it's kind of like stressful, but I also feel like it's one of those things that once you get past it and once you like overcome it, good or bad, like good things come to you. You know what I mean? It's just like it'll be a rewarding month that really like it's just like your labors and your like efforts will be returned back to you like on the same scale. Ironic because this does have a Libra sign in it, so you could be a Libra or Taurus because we do have Venus here. And I just feel like this month is going to be very rewarding for you. But I also want to say with the love card here, these are tomatoes. And honestly, the thing that I thought of first, and I also read like the guidebook, it kind of said the same thing in the sense that like tomatoes are constantly like there always seems to be a controversy regarding whether or not tomatoes are fruits or vegetables. I personally think they're fruits. But you know what I mean? Comes with like that controversy and that like there's gonna be different people on different sides, you know? So I feel like in March it's very important that you're very transparent with communication and that you're not like how do I say? You make sure to get all the corners and you make sure to really thoroughly explain something before you chalk up any conclusions because I feel like as a result people kind of get the wrong idea of you or people start to feel some type of way. And I don't sense it in like a bad thing, you know. I don't think that like, you know, if you do a rain check or something, like the world's gonna end and everyone's gonna like despise you or something. I don't think it's to that severity, but I just feel like during March and maybe even starting now when you're watching this pile one, I feel like you could save yourself a lot of extra stress, time, energy, and trouble if you just like make sure to explain things thoroughly in the first place. Otherwise, you'll be very liable to like not liable maybe but like you'll be very prone to having to repeat yourself, reiterate things, people twisting your words around, people misinterpreting you, people not hearing you out correctly, you know. It's just like it'll cause a lot of extra frustration, especially in the workplace. I'm sensing for some of you, and I do feel like for a good portion of you the workplace is kind of the focus for you. I feel like a lot of you have been working really hard at your job or like you've been trying to make more monies. Maybe you've been trying to get promoted, you've been trying to maybe even find another job, you know. Like the point is I feel like you're trying to reach for something right now. Like there's something that you're reaching for that seems quite a little bit out of reach, especially with this cornucopia card here. Usually I interpret this card as like there's a lot of options on the table, and I do feel as if though that's the case for you in the sense that there are probably a lot of options on the table. Maybe, you know, if it is about work, it could be that like, you know, you've have a bunch of job opportunities, you've applied to different jobs, or like there's different positions that are opening, you know, things like that. But I feel like this card is mainly talking about the fact that there's something that you're reaching for and there's something that you have your eye on, something that you're deeply coveting. And I feel like you shouldn't tunnel vision on this thing too much, or I feel like you shouldn't hyperfixate too much in March pile one. I feel like if you hang on to something too tightly, you'll be really disappointed. And this once again comes back to the whole like make sure you get all the corners first and make sure you're more realistic with yourself. Don't overwork yourself. And I feel like it's too easy to say don't overwork yourself, you know. It's like how do you do that, you know, especially in this culture. But I feel like one way you can avoid that is by focusing on the things that make you happy, you know. Like stop stressing so much about, oh my gosh, I have to pay the bills. Oh my gosh, like I have to do this, this, and this. Like, oh my goodness, I need to go to the post office for this. Like, it's not, I don't think that it's necessarily about the labor itself, because I feel like you enjoy working, pile one, but I just feel like there's a certain point where you should focus on things that make you happy, and the things that, why are you working? Why are you trying to make money? It's so that you can enjoy these things on the side, It's like, I don't know, maybe you really like collecting blind bags from the store, Focus on those things. Those make you happy. Like, you're working and you're grinding to buy those things. Maybe you really like going to the amusement park. Maybe you really like going on road trips. Maybe you really like shopping, Like, focus on these things. And I'm not saying like go crazy if your money's or nothing. Like, don't spend all your money. But I'm saying like there's other things that make you happy, and these things are the reason you're working so hard. So maybe let yourself pause from time to time, or maybe let yourself carve out some time for these things that make you happy. Perhaps it could be a romantic interest, because this is the love card, and I see like the love potion. We have Libra here. Maybe for some of you, like, you want to get into a relationship, or you're in a relationship. I feel like there's a lot of Venusian themes here, and it's just like whether or not you do have like Venus in your big three, or like a prominent Venus placement. I feel like the point is like, in March, it's important that you bring more beauty to your life. And I feel like that's what you're going to be doing, pile one. I feel like a lot of beauty is going to come into your life during this month. And beauty can come in all shapes and forms, obviously. But I feel like for some of you, like, a big one will be like maybe changing your appearance, or trying new things if you're, fashion, or, maybe getting your hair done, maybe, trying new skincare. And I feel like it's just like, March is gonna be such a great month for you to finally let your stresses and your worries take the back seat for a little bit, because you've worked hard enough, and it's kind of a time where you kind of start really enjoying the fruits of your labor. And once again, back to the whole like perspective thing, it's just like, I feel like a big part of overworking yourself is like your perspective. I feel like when you overwork yourself, you're too focused on your finances, you're too focused on work, you're stressed about it, you're constantly talking about it, you're constantly thinking about it. It's like the first thing you think of when you wake up, and the last thing you think of before you go to sleep. I feel like in that sense, like, you mentally overwork yourself, because there are people that really like pushing themselves physically. There's people that don't mind working so much, but it's like, if it's coming to a point where you're dreading work or something, it's like, if it was anyone else that pulled up to you, be like, I'm so overworked, like, you would tell them the same thing, like, you need to take a break. So it's like, apply that logic and treat yourself as if you were trying to please somebody else, because I do feel like there's some people pleasing energy here, and not in a bad way, but more of like, you really like seeing others happy. So I feel like this is a great month where you kind of put yourself on that pedestal, and you kind of like shine the spotlight on yourself, and be like, all right, if I was another person, what would I do for me? Like, if I was just like chilling, or if a friend came up to me being like, I'm overworked, things like that, and I don't know what to do, I really like this person, you would tell them, be like, child, you need to take a break, like, one way or another, like, you'll be fine, like, one day off isn't going to be the end of your paycheck, or like, you should really make a move on them, go shoot your shot. I feel like for a good portion of you, this will be a very lucky month in romance, especially since, like, with the Venusian themes, I believe in March we have Venus going into Aries, then going into Taurus, so it's like a double transit, I heard. And we have a new moon in Pisces while I'm filming this. Obviously, I don't know when you're going to be seeing this, pile one, but I assume it's over the next 1 or 2 weeks. But while I'm filming this, it's the new moon in Pisces, and I feel like beginning now, like, you're going to be manifesting a lot of love into your life, whether it be romantic, platonic, and I feel like that will come in a lot of shapes and forms, like, in March. Because, like, I feel like in March, a good portion of you could be going out more, spending more time with loved ones, or, like, making more time for friends or lovers, and it'll be a really good time. I feel like March is going to be really fun for you, honestly, and I feel like it's going to be, like, kind of, like, I'm, like, sensing, like, kind of this smirk energy, like, we did that, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the energy I'm seeing here, especially with the smoky quartz. I just realized, because I feel like smoky quartz is a lot, like, it's a great crystal for, like, clarity and, becoming clear on things. And I feel like March is going to be a very clarifying month. I feel like it'll clear up a lot of the fog in all of the areas of your life that you're really stressed about, especially your love life and finances. Anything that deals with Venus themes, you know what I mean? Like love, beauty, finances, romance, all of those things. I feel like there's a little bit of, like, how do I say, like a little bit of haziness. So I feel like that haze will lift, and I feel like you'll be like, oh wow, I put in a lot more work than I thought I did, you know? And I feel like it'll just be such a great month for you to finally appreciate yourself and appreciate the things around you and appreciate your hard work. You know, I feel like this will be a huge month on gratitude. I feel like you're going to be really grateful for some things. But yeah, let me get into the tarot here. I'm so excited for you, pile one. When I seen these cards, all of the piles have been pretty good, honestly. I was like, it didn't really. I'm just here for it. All right. Using the all reliable today. Some March forecast for pile one. March forecast for pile one. March forecast of pile one. Alright, what do we have here? We have Ace of Cups. Beautiful card. Five of Pentacles. Ace of Swords. Oh, wow. Me hyping all the other cards up, and then when I pulled the Five of Pentacles, I was like, silent. Girl, bye. I'll get into it, don't worry. Ace of Wands. Oh my gosh. I sound like such a tarot reader right now. Like, oh my god, guys, these cards are so good. Truly. And the Hanged Man. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Fool. Amazing cards here. So, with this Five of Pentacles, let's just address the elephant in the room. With this Five of Pentacles here, I feel like this card is talking about a good portion of leading up until this point. Like a good portion of what you've dealt with up until this point. And the reason I'm saying that is because we literally have three of the aces here. I honestly want to hope we have other aces here, but you know, we don't need to be pulling the whole deck. So I feel like with this Five of Pentacles and the combination of all these aces, it just seems as if though that leading up until this point, you felt really alone. I'm sensing like this heavy energy of like someone who's smiling, but like deep down, like they are going through a lot. And I feel like that was you for a good while, pile one. I feel like for a while, like it was weird because when I was pulling both pile one and two, the thing I kept sensing is like, be careful with your money. And I feel like for you, it was be careful with your money because I feel like for a while, people were taking money from you. I feel like for a good while, like people were soliciting money from you or people kept trying to take from you. I am saying money because it is the Pentacles. And it was interesting because the other day I was watching a tarot reading and I realized that in the Five of Pentacles, they're outside of a church. And you know, a church is supposed to be all accepting, all like, anyone is welcome, you know. So it's like these people are like stuck outside, and you know, like even the most welcoming of places is not accepting them, is not letting them in, you know, locking them out. So it's like I feel like that's how you felt for a while. I feel like for a good portion of time, I'm sensing this energy of like doing so much good for people, hoping for like a return, hoping for like something good to come around, trying to build good karma. But I honestly feel like it was just karmic debt you were paying off. I feel like for a good while, like there was things that you didn't really address, or maybe things that happened that you didn't address, and because of that, it was necessary for you to go through this hardship. And not to like say that like your pain and like all that stuff was like necessary, or that like you deserve to go through that. And I'm not saying that like your pain was necessary. What I'm saying is the lessons were necessary. You know, it definitely happened for you, not to you. And I feel like it really did teach you an important lesson about people that want to take from you, or from situations that are like taking so much from you but not giving anything back to you. You know, like it really does seem to boil back to that, you know, like overworked thing. I feel like there's this theme of like working but for so little pay, you know, like getting underpaid, you know, not having the same power as somebody else despite the fact that you're doing their job, you know. Just the sense of like you're not getting paid appropriately for your labor, and that you're not being rewarded for all of your efforts. And I feel like you know how I was talking about at the beginning of the reading, like there's gonna be so many good things that you literally will not know what you want, or like you won't know which one to go about. I feel like that's what this Hangman is referencing, and all of these aces, and also this Fool card. Ooh, King of Pentacles too. And I feel like financially a lot of things are coming towards you, and I feel like it'll be in the form of a bunch of different jobs. And I also do feel like you'll get some love offers if that's what you're looking for, pile one. Just know that, like, when I say offerings, something's coming to mind. Something just popped up into your head right now. Like for some of you it's like, oh my god, that job, or like, oh my gosh, that like promotion, or oh my gosh, this person finally messaging me back, or like, oh my gosh, like this thing I really wanted off Etsy is finally back in stock. You know, whatever it is for you guys, you know. So I want you to apply that in the way that you deem is fit, because there's definitely something that you're coveting right now, pile one. There's definitely something that you have your eye on, or like a specific pathway you have your eye on. And what I mean by that is like there's a specific way that you want March to go, or there's things that you're really hoping for. And I do feel as if though these things, like you'll have a beginning and you'll have a way to like go about them. And what I mean by that is like maybe you won't get everything that you wanted just yet in March, but I feel like it'll be very clear to you as to what steps you can take to go ahead and achieve those things, or, you know, attract them to you. And I'm saying that because I don't want to just sit here and be like, oh, like all of these things will just come out of nowhere and, you know, just fall into your lap. But I do feel like a good portion of it will, because like you work so hard leading up until this point. But I also feel like there's just a few things that are a little bit like not out of reach, but like will take a little bit more tenacity or a little bit of extra time before they come to you. And I feel like for a good portion of you, you're willing to wait, because I do feel like a lot of novelties coming into your life in March, and when I'm in the sense that like good things are coming to you in March, and while you're enjoying these things, like you'll naturally attract the things that you've been craving, or, you know, like it's just like you'll know where to go. Like I feel like that's basically the consensus of the reading so far, is like you'll know where to go in March, and you'll know what your next move will be. Like anything you've been wanting, or anything that you've been wanting to try, specific routines, new rituals, you'll know what you want to do and you'll know how to go about it. And I do feel like a bunch of different offerings will come to you, because we have so many aces here, but, you know, they're from different elements. So I feel like with the Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands, I feel like a new passion project is going to come towards you. I feel like a new person may come towards you, or like the person, if you're already with someone, will come towards you with an offering. And then with the Ace of Swords, I do feel as if though that refers more to work or references. And in the sense that I feel like your boss may say something to you, or like your boss may lay some really good news on you. But either way, I feel like in March there will be a lot of new journeys, and there will be a lot of excitement. And honestly, I feel like that's really the best way to say it, pile one. Like you see the reading, like you're literally here with me, like you know the vibe. I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, pile one, I don't think it's like possible for me to predict everything that may come to you, or like, you know, kind of pin down what it is these offerings may be. I feel like it's kind of like a very vague thing. I feel like the whole good things are coming to you is a very vague like statement, because it's just so colorful for the majority watching this pile. And I just feel like it's completely different from person to person watching this pile. It's just like one of you, like you may get a huge job offering, or like you may get like a huge promotion, and the other of you, like someone may gift you something, someone may gift you like a new car or something like that. And then the, you know, others of you, like someone will come towards you with a love offering, or like your crush will finally text you back, you know, things like that. It's just like it is so wildly different from person to person, because I just feel like all of you have been wanting something new, and all of you have been coveting something. But I can say with confidence that March will be an easier month for you, and you'll really start to come out of this Five of Pentacles energy of like feeling let down, feeling cold, feeling, you know, apathetic, and, you know, like not wanting to proceed with this life, you know. And it's just like, I feel like for a good portion of you, it's literally just this vibe of like wanting to not be anywhere, you know, lay in bed all day, or like, you know, like I feel like for some of you, you experienced some really dark thoughts, and it was really difficult for you. And I feel like with this Hangman card here, it's definitely talking about like, it's just going to be so sudden, the fact that so many things are coming towards you, and that so many things are changing right in front of your eyes. it'll literally just be like, hey, yo, like, I wasn't expecting none of this. So yeah, that's all I'm really picking up on for you, Lo. Let's get into these tea leaf cards. I pulled some for you. I love these cards, and I love using them in readings like this, so let's get right into them. For your tea leaf cards, we have Bouquet, Compliments from an Admirer, Weeping Willow, Family Sorrow, Forest, Muddled Unclear Thinking, and Beetle, Good Fortune. Absolutely. I feel like the Forest and Weeping Willow card definitely reference like the things I was talking about, in the sense that like I feel like there was a lot of hardships you faced, and maybe with this family sorrow idea, maybe for some of you it dealt with family or people you live with or people like you're related to. Maybe they were being rude to you, maybe they were overworking you, maybe they were just treating you like garbage. They were being, just, I feel like they were just not treating you correctly. There's someone in your life, and there are people in your life for a good portion of the time leading up until March that were not treating you correctly and were being very, like, for some of you, literally just mean to you. For others of you, just, like, putting a lot of pressure on you. But I feel like, I feel like for the collective, like, there's just someone in your life that was putting a lot of pressure on you. And I feel like with this Forest card, do be careful is to not get lost in the sauce. And what I mean by that is like, don't overthink things or don't think too hard about some things, because I feel as if though not everything will be what it seems, or that not everything is set in stone, especially up until this point. And moving forward, I feel like March is just going to be a very transitional month where good shifts or like bad shifts to good, I feel like it'll be a month where things start shifting, and then like moving forward, that's when you'll get the positive momentum that you've been seeking. And obviously, like, not to say that like March isn't going to be the beginning of that positive momentum, but I just feel like it'll be kind of the beginning of it before you get to the middle of it. And maybe for some of you, it may move very quickly, but for others of you, I'm sensing that it'll be a very gradual, slow moving process. And maybe with this Hangman card here, it's just a sense of like, okay, all these good things are started, but now it's just like, it's like planting seeds and knowing what the seeds are going to grow to be. And it's just like, wow, I'm excited. I got these seeds. I planted them. Like, I watered them. I'm ready for these flowers. But then it's like, you have to wait for them to grow. And you're like, girl, like, who is trying to wait this long? And, I feel like that's the vibe. I feel like March, it'll be a very exciting month in the sense that, like, you'll begin a lot of new things. And you'll, like, kick off pretty strong, honestly. But then I feel like you'll kind of realize, like, wow, I have to, like, wait for a while. What am I going to do with my life? And it'll be kind of stress-inducing in that sense. And I feel like because of that, it'll be kind of daunting, because I feel like for some of you, maybe impatient, or, like, you're literally so ready to get out of the situation that you're in now. But it's like, do understand that I feel like getting to this point in your life was a gradual process, so getting out of it will also be a gradual process. And I feel like that's because you really need to process what's happened to you, and you really need to process the emotions that came with the hardships you faced leading up until this point. Because if you don't, then the situation will literally just repeat itself, and it'll just manifest it back with like these like unclear feelings that are clearly like buried deep down in your psyche. So it's like, avoid that and do yourself a favor by planting the good things now in March, and then you kind of like process what's happened to you before you could plant these seeds and sow these seeds. Like, think about like why, like, not why, but like, what's happened to you, how did it make you feel, why was it difficult, like, what did you want, and like, how do you feel in the position you're in now? And I feel like by the time you process all these feelings, completely let them go and stop holding grudges, stop being angry with yourself or other people, you'll start to see your fruits come into labor, or labor come into fruit. I don't know what the saying is. Is it even a saying? But you know what I mean? Like, the seeds that you sowed will finally start growing, and you'll finally start seeing your hard work pay off. And I feel like, obviously, I've been saying that your hard work will pay off in March, and what I mean by that is with this Good Fortune card here and Compliments from an Admirer, I feel like your love life and your money situations will start thriving in March, but I feel like now it's time to do the emotional work. It's time to do the mental work, like improve your mental health. Like, you've already worked so hard on the outside, now you need to work on the inside. And I feel like that's what this time period would be about. it's like you work so hard to build a comfortable lifestyle around you. At least that'll last you for a little bit, but so that you can process the feelings and, you know, the things that are going on inside your mind and heart. And I feel like by the time you process all those things, like, you'll be completely aligned with what's going on around you, in the sense that, like, you're in, like, on the inside you'll feel just as good as you do on the outside, you know. And I feel like that'll just really help you get back into alignment, because I do feel like with this Libra theme here, and also that whole miscommunication theme, I feel like it's very easy for you to get thrown off or distracted. So it's like, do be diligent is to focus on the themes I just talked about, on the, you know, like, introspective work, or like the inside work. I don't know how to say, like, I'm just gonna say introspection, but you know what I'm saying, pile one. And I just feel like it's just such a great time for you to finally process what's happened to you and understand that it was never personal, you know. And it's just like, this is a new journey for you, so you need to, like, start out on a good foot, you know. You need to start on the right foot, and you need to, like, just be careful, you know. Not be careful, but, you know, like, pack your bags for, you know, like, be prepared for it. There we go. Like, be prepared for what's coming to you, pile one. So yeah, March is just going to be a very good month for you, in the sense that, like, your hard work on the outside at your job and your love life will really pay off. But now it's time for you to do the emotional inwards work. And it's also very important that you are very tenacious and that you're very diligent to communicate properly, and to not jump to conclusions or assume that what you see is exactly what it is, because that's just not the case. And things are going to be very easy to misinterpret and cause and, like, cultivate, like, false disappointment, when in reality it's still working out. It's just taking a little extra time, and it's just a great month for you to start new projects. After all, it's like the beginning of spring. So yeah, that's all I have for you, pile one. I hope the reading resonated. If it did, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this citrine, this is going to be your March forecast reading. There we go. So I actually have a few Oracle cards here, and let's just get right into it. Let me not waste your time. So for your cards, we have number 24, Agreement. Everything will be okay. Move that out of the way. And then Fire Mother. So the thing that stuck out to me was the Everything Will Be Okay card, because I feel like with the Agreement card, and also you may be a Libra, or you may have Libra in your chart. I also feel like for some of you may have Aries in your chart because of this Fire Mother card. But regardless of the case, I feel like with Agreement, everything will be okay. I do feel as if, though, for a good while now, pile 2, you've been fearing disagreement, or you've been fearing discourse in in Venus themes. And what I mean by Venus themes is that Libra is ruled by Venus, obviously, and it also rules Taurus, so you may have Taurus in your chart, or like Taurus may be an important sign. But regardless of the case here, I feel like with this Fire Mother card too, it seems as if, though, you're fiercely protecting something. You're fiercely protecting your finances, a relationship, a home. You're protecting something, and you're holding onto it very tightly. And I feel like this is because for a while, I feel like there was a lot of disagreements, and because of that, you became pretty defensive, and you became pretty overprotective of the things you've worked for. And I feel like this is a result of people trying to get what's yours. And maybe also, like, for some of you, you're a little bit, like, stressed out because I feel like you're mentally overworking yourself. Pile 1 and pile 2 might be very similar. So if you felt called to pile 1, like, I would watch it. Actually, no, that was so pushy. Like, if you don't want to watch it, you literally don't have to. It's literally your choice. But you know what I mean here? Well, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's for the extra context. But I feel like generally here in your pile, it's a little bit different, obviously. But the reason it's different is because I feel like you've become very, like, ferocious, or, like, you've been very, like, defensive over the things that, like, are yours because you don't want to lose them. Because I feel like there have been people trying to threaten to take what's yours. You know, like, oh, I worked for this car, like, why would you take it? Or, like, why would you take it away from me? Or, like, I pay rent all the time, why are you trying to evict me? You know, or, like, you know, no, I bought this is mine, like you don't need to be taking it from me, or like, it's just like this sense of like there's things in your life that you've been working very hard to maintain and other things in your life that you've been working very hard to get. I'm sensing for some of you, like you work a very high position at a job or something and someone's been trying to like compete with you, and it's like, girl, like you do not have the 5 years experience in the 4 year degree like I do, so please just back away. And I feel like in March, a good theme will be that things seemingly just start working out. I read the guidebook for the agreement card here, and it said that, like, it's very important that, or like, it's very, like, important for you to understand that if you're trying to make offerings or negotiations in March, especially those related to love, it will be very favorable for you, and I feel like there will be a lot of harmonious energy in March for you, pile 2. I feel like there's going to be a huge theme of like things going out smoother than they have in the past, and I feel like it's just like it'll just be a lot easy. It'll be a way more easygoing month than the past few months have been, and I feel like the stress that you've been dealing with up until this point will greatly be alleviated, and I feel like you won't have to deal with a lot of BS anymore. And I also feel like if there were things that you've been wanting to work out, like maybe there has been like a weird living situation, maybe there's been like a weird situation in your relationship, or like maybe someone said something weird, things were just a little bit strange, a little bit weird, and things just didn't feel right. I feel like you know what I'm talking about, pile 2. I feel like there's things, when I say things have felt off, there is something that immediately comes to mind, and I feel like those will kind of get addressed and resolved in March, and I feel like it'll be a lot more of a simplistic month for you, more minimalist, and more downtime for you, in the sense that like you can really focus on the things that you've been wanting, or really focus on the negotiations you've been wanting to offer. But with the Fire Mother card here, be careful is to not focus too much on stress or to focus on the wrong things, because I do feel like in March it's very important that you focus on perspective, because I feel like you have a very like interesting relationship with like self-worth, in the sense that like don't tie your work too much to your worth, like don't tie your worth to results, like if you're working at something, don't associate your worth with what you've gained from that. It's like, how do I say, like, don't associate your self-worth with your pay, with the results you've gotten at work, with the results you've gotten from like a creative hobby. It's like those things aren't correlated. Your self-worth is static. It is a set value. So you don't need to change it, or you don't need to try to equal it or kind of equate it to other things in your life. So be careful as to not do that in March. And I feel like for a good portion of you, you'll be working on that. And it's something that you should understand. But I feel like with the Fire Mother card, it always talks about like, or I always get the vibe that like it's just somebody who's constantly focusing on the next problem or the next hurdle, just like someone that's like, okay, I got that done, now I need to pay this off, like, oh, I paid this bill, now I need to pay this bill, oh, and then I need to pay this bill. And it's just like, what about the little in-betweens where you get to buy the stuff that you like? It's like, if you get Starbucks once a week and that is literally the highlight of your week, like why can't you focus on that? Why can't in between paying these bills off, you're excited about spending that $5, be like, ooh girl, like y'all already know I get that matcha drink, like I'm thriving, let me post it on all my social media, like tongue sticking out and everything, you know what I mean? I feel like there's just, you have a great passion and you have an amazing ability to bring color and creativity to anything that you desire. So it's like, instead of working so hard to glamorize responsibilities and like wasting your energy on something that is just meant to be completed and not overly glamorized, why can't you just bring romance and beauty and glamorization to the things that already make you happy, and really highlight those things, and really just like set aside the other things so that it can help you manifest. It's like, if you focus so much on the next problem, all you're going to do is attract problems. And when I say problems, I'm not saying like literal hurdles or literal difficulties or like hardships. I mean like petty little mundane issues that require your attention and require you to kind of work through them. Like, oh, like I broke this, like oh my gosh, what else is next, you know? And then something else breaks, and then oh my gosh, I need to go get my oil change, you know? It's just like stop focusing on the like if you're gonna focus on the mundane, at least focus on the things that make you happy and the little things that really do like compose a good day, you know? It's like if the highlight of your day was waking up and scrolling through your phone for the first 30 minutes and you saw really funny memes, you know, then that's the highlight of your day. Focus on that. If like someone said something really nice to you at the store and you're like, wow, y'all, focus on that. If like you got to go apple picking with your friends, it is not apple picking season. Maybe you guys went to a meadow or like a park or something with your friends. Focus on that. Like March will heavily depend on your perspective because there will be a lot of things happening for you, good and bad. And I just feel like you're very susceptible to focusing on the bad because of like maybe like pessimism or like someone else is just like dampening your mood. It's just like be careful is to not associate with people that clearly don't want that best for you. It's like when you talk to a friend and you're like, you want the good news or the bad news first, and they're always just saying bad news. It's just like stop associating with people that clearly are hoping for bad things on you or clearly see you as competition. Like let that go. Like let that insert profanity go. Like stop dealing with that. Stop dealing with people that clearly don't want the best for you. Like you don't deserve that. Like you don't need that, first of all. Like, and that pile too. So stop making excuses. And it's just like stop dealing with people that clearly want to hate on you and stop dealing with situations way more than they need to be dealt with. It's like paying bills and like doing your responsibilities. Those are just things that you need to do. They are not good or bad. They're just things that you need to do. Like have an indifferent POV on those. But then when you're like doing things that make you feel good, doing things that you want to do, bring some light to those things and be like, wow, like this is so fun. I love this. Like, wow, I want to go to the outlets with my friends, spend a few bucks, like that's going to make you happy. So why don't you highlight that, And I hate to sound like I'm lecturing you about this, but I just feel like it's important to like really lay down this idea that March is heavily about like what you choose to focus on. Sorry. It was either that or sneeze really loud. But I just feel like March is going to be a very good month overall, but it's just like I feel like the goods are going to outweigh the bad, but if you focus on the bads, it's not going to seem that way, Anyways, let's get to the tarot here. I'm using Old Reliable today. Old Reliable. I don't know why my nose gets so stuffy sometimes when I'm filming. It's so annoying. It's like disastrous. I'm like, girl, please hand me a box of tissues. Alright. What is going on in March for pile 2? What is going on in March for pile 2? What is going on in March for pile 2? What is going on in March for pile 2? Alright, what do we got here? We have the Star, the Sun, Queen of Cups, Six of Wands, looking good, and then Five of Wands. And then we have Justice. So it really does seem as if though, like, once again, it's about balance and it's about, I think it's funny, we also have Libra here twice, but I feel like what I was saying about like what you focus on really matters. I feel like that's kind of what the Justice card is talking about, in the sense that like I feel like I also think that for a good portion of you, there won't even be a good or bad, but rather how you choose to perceive it altogether, instead of be like, oh, I'll focus on the good or the bad, or instead of that, I feel like you're gonna surpass that altogether and just be like, this is good. All of this is just good, and all of this is necessary. I feel like for a good portion of you, you've really developed like a very emotionally mature perspective on your lifestyle and what's going on around you. And oh yeah, I also see the Hermit card here. But it makes me think of like just somebody who's very indifferent on their life and somebody who chooses to not take things personally anymore. And I feel like you have a very realistic approach to your life now. And when I say realistic, I mean like you're more honest with yourself and you're more like farsighted about it. You know, it's like even if something negative happens to you now, I feel like in March, it's safe to say that instead of be like, oh my gosh, this is like a bad thing, this is like the end of my life, you'll be like, oh, like wow, like this is, you know, it's kind of a setback, it's kind of an inconvenience. I'm not feeling all that great about it, but I also know that this is necessary, and I know that this is something that's gonna work out later, or, you know, it's like, you know, it was bound to happen, you know, like better things are coming, you know, it's like, oh, like you broke up with someone, like wow, like that's just not a vibe. But also there's better coming, you know, if they won't do it, somebody else will, you know. It's just this perspective of like being very indifferent about bad things happening to you, but also being very like not smug, but being very like happy when good things happen to you, you know. And I feel like that's so vague and kind of broad. I know I'm painting a lot of broad strokes here, pile two. It's probably driving you crazy, but what I'm trying to say that like it's really all about your perspective this month. And I know I keep saying that. I know I sound like a broken record here, but I just feel like with the Six of Wands here and the Five of Wands, there's things that you're going to accomplish, things you're going to get done in a lot of harmonious situations. But with the Five of Wands, there's also going to be some conflict, and there's going to also be situations where it's a little less favorable for you. You know, it's like one thing will work out for another thing to not work out. You know, it'll be kind of that. And I feel like that's why I keep reiterating the perspective so much, because I feel like for a good time now, it was hard to get a gauge on your life, and it was hard to kind of get a gauge on what's going on around you. And I feel like with the Star card and the Sun card here, it'll just be a time where you kind of like relish the good times and you kind of like look back on good times. I feel like nostalgia is going to be really big for you in March. And you could also like, I feel like you have some fixed in your chart, like Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I feel like if you do have those placements, just know March is going to be a way easier month because Saturn's leaving Aquarius, and girl, you already know I'm ready. Whew, excuse me. So, and I feel like with the Star card here, it really does seem as if though you're healing from something. You're healing from something that's happened to you. And I feel like as a result, that's what's kind of helping you move forward in March, and something that's really inspiring you. It's kind of the sense of like just dealing with, I feel like March is going to be a flow state, pile two. I feel like that's what I'm trying to get at. I feel like March isn't going to be like this huge, super crazy, eventful month. I feel like that's not even what you're looking for. I feel like you're not looking for crazy drama, or you're not looking for crazy situations. I feel like you're just looking for life to be like stable again, and for life to be like simple again and more watered down, so that you can just move about it, you know, do flow state, you know, do routine, you know, do things that you've been wanting to do, make time for things when you want to make time for things, and go to work, you know. It's just like, I feel like for a good portion of you, you've just been seeking stability, and you've been seeking a set routine, and you've been looking for something that is, excuse me, something that is like fluid, you know. I feel like you're just really tired of dealing with turbulent situations, or you're really tired of dealing with something that just stresses you out, or like going about your days from a strictly intuitive perspective, you know, like waking up every day not knowing what you're gonna do, you know. Maybe for some of you, you've been unemployed, or maybe you've been like not working as much as you'd like to, or for the rest of you, you've been working a little too much. And I feel like this pile is gonna be the one where it's like, if you've been looking to work more, this will be a great time for you to pick up hours, and you'll be able to pick up good things in terms of that, you know, like you'll pick up a job, you'll pick up, you know, more hours, you'll pick up more time, or you'll pick up more responsibilities that'll kind of fill up your schedule. And for those of you that have felt a little overworked, and, you know, you've been wanting to not work as hard, this will be a great month where you'll finally start, you know, getting a little bit of rest, or you'll start seeing a little bit more time off, a few less hours, or maybe like you get paid more, or like, you know, your job will be like, hey, you should work from home for now, something like that. And I feel like with this Five of Wands here, there's also going to be some conflict. I do feel as if, though, with the Justice card here, maybe some of you have been dealing with legal matters, or you've been waiting for something of a legal contract to kind of go through. Maybe for some of you, you've been wanting to like buy something big, like maybe buying a car, buying a house, or you've been like filing papers for something. Maybe you applied for a job, something like that, something that deals with like signing papers and getting things done, or like, like signing contracts, or kind of like working things out legally. Maybe like you got a stupid ticket, or something like that, and you've been waiting for it to get dealt with, or you've been filing for taxes or something like that. All of that will work out this month. All of that will pan out this month. But I feel like with that working out, it'll bring some new responsibilities, and it'll bring new burdens upon you. And with the Sun card here and the Star card, it's like good things are coming this month. And once again, the perspective. I'm sensing that like you'll get what you want, and there's something that you want. There's something that you've applied for. There's something that you have signed for. And you'll, more likely than not, you will get it, or something better within the span of March, honestly. But I feel like as a result, other things will kind of pop up, and other inconveniences will pop up, and a lot more responsibilities will come upon you. So do be mindful of that, but also understand that as a result, it's just like you got what you want in the end, and it's like, I don't think that a lot of you are going to be, I don't think a lot of you will be like stressed out or anything. I don't think you're going to be mad that you have to do more. I feel like this is something you've been really wanting, and you very much understand the responsibilities that come with it. But I just feel like it's important to address the fact that it's going to be a lot more than you think it's going to be. And I feel like as a result, it's going to bring some tension into your life and a little bit of extra stress for a while. I feel like March is going to be one of those months where it's like you get everything that you wanted to a point where it's stressful, It's just going to be a little bit of extra burdens and a little bit of extra work. So I also have some tea leaf cards here. I pulled a few for every pile. I just grabbed how many fell out. So I'm going to lay these out too and see what else is in your reading. So we have Cobweb, protection from negative forces beyond your control. I, your psychic ability, trust your intuition. Pig, beware of greed. Wall, misunderstanding. And Crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. So for a good portion of you, you may actually be a mother, or you may have children, or you may have people that are your responsibility, like maybe a little sibling or something like that, or like, like you're babysitting someone. I just feel like children are involved for a good portion of you, but regardless of whether or not that resonates with you, I feel like with this Wall card and Cobweb card, you will be protected, and nothing will truly cause issues in your life, and nothing will truly cause problems for you. But I feel like it will seem that way, and because of that, it'll cause a lot of extra stress, and it'll cause a lot of unnecessary misunderstandings and like unnecessary tension, especially with this Pig card here. I feel like for a good portion of you, like you're trying to get away from somebody, or you're trying to let somebody go, and I feel like you're trying to like let a situation go, or like move out of somewhere. There's just something that you guys are trying to get rid of, or something that you're trying to like dispose of or get away from. And I feel like this month you will be able to with the Cobweb card here. But I also feel like with this Wall card and Pig card, understand that if you've been around something that was stressful, you've been around that energy for a while, and it's important that you properly purge that out. And don't run too much on logic, especially if you're like an emotional person. Trust your intuition and follow your gut. If something's telling you that this is not the vibe, it's probably not the vibe, And it's like, even if it is the vibe, why would you want to deal with something that makes you so uncomfortable the entire time that you're dealing with it, It's just, at that point, is it really the vibe, And I feel like with this Wall card, there's bound to be misunderstandings between you and other people, and there's bound to be like miscommunications. So be very transparent, bite your tongue. There's going to be times where you really need to not chalk up conclusions and not, like be overly assumptuous, if that's the word. Don't be presumptuous, I think. And understand that it's just not the way it seems, and that things are kind of panning themselves for the better, and that people are gaining context as they go. Everyone in your life is gaining context as they go. Everyone in your life is learning as they go right now during this time. So be careful is to not chalk up conclusions or be too impatient with people around you. Otherwise, it will cause a lot of extra stress. And I don't feel like this extra stress is going to be like life ending, like I said. I just feel like it's a great time where you're trying to avoid extra stress. So avoid it at all costs to improve the quality of your life, you know? It's hard, it's kind of hard to explain. I really want to be as eloquent about it as possible, because what I'm trying to convey here is that sure, this situation is petty and it's not going to cause you any true problems, but you can also save yourself the extra time and energy by dedicating that time and energy to other things that are more worth your time, instead of stressing about something that literally isn't even that big of a problem, you know. It will resolve itself, and you know, even if it doesn't, just deal with it and move about your life, you know, just have it dealt with, move along from it, and just, you know, it's like cut and clean, done and dusted. You don't have to deal with it anymore. So don't overreact over tiny things, or don't put too much stress into little things because you're trying to avoid something bigger, you know? Be honest with yourself and be more realistic with the things that are in front of you. And don't be like, how do I say? I hate to say just don't be like this, but I feel like there's just other things in your life that are going to be causing you. There's just little inconveniences and petty situations that once again boils down to your perspective. I know I keep saying that, but I just feel like if you focus on the wrong things, or if you keep focusing on the little problems that are inevitably going to happen, because, you know, if you are dealing with something that is contract based, there are going to be some like situations that pan out that didn't pan out the way you thought they would, and or there are things that you didn't see before. It's gonna happen. So as a result, you may as well just expect them, and you may as well be open to them, so that you can focus on other things that make you feel good, you know, like the thing that you wanted in the first place. You know, it's just, it doesn't have to be stressful. March doesn't have to be a bad month. March is going to be a very good month for you if you choose and let it be a good month. You're going to get what you want, but that's going to bring a few extra responsibilities. Be open about those and be open to them, and understand that they were going to happen no matter how big or how burdening they may be. So just deal with them and let them be, and let yourself enter a flow state where you deal with things as they go. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated, like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose this angel or a quartz, I'm gonna just start saying angel or a quartz. If that's not the right terminology, correct me. If not, you're just gonna have to listen to me say it wrong, okay? So we actually have a few oracle cards here for your March predictions forecast reading. So let's just get right into it. So for your cards, we have number 43, Tranquility. We have Cast Your Sacred Symbols. And Your Light. So the first thing that sticks out to me is that we have two candle images here. We have this one and this one. This one's also Pisces. There's Pisces right here. So you may be a Pisces, or you may have that in your chart. Sorry, I'm like all thrown around right now. So for your March, honestly, Pile 3, I feel like it's going to be a really slow month for you. And not like in a, oh, it's going to be bad slow. But what I mean is I feel like it's going to be one of those months where things kind of like slow down for you. And I feel like up until this point, your life was pretty turbulent, or there was a lot of destruction that happened. I feel like for a good portion of you, like you may have quit a job, you may have broken up with someone, you just may have dealt with a lot of things that were like, you really shed a lot of things that didn't resonate with you. And what I mean by that is, like, you broke up with someone because they weren't treating you correctly. You quit a job because you weren't getting paid enough, you didn't like it. And there's just something else that you want here, Pile 3. There's just something else that has caught your eye. And with this Your Light card, and the reason I point out the two candles is because in this one deck called the Midnight City Tarot, The Hermit card depicts someone sitting on a floor with all these papers on the floor, and there's like a candle, and it's just like, that's the vibe I'm getting for you. I'm getting this hermit vibe for you in March, where you kind of just start doing what you want to do. You know, for some of you, I feel like you start like a more entrepreneurial journey, or there's just like this pathway that you want to take that is just way more fruitful for you. Like, I feel like for some of you, maybe you want to start a small business, maybe you want to start being a content creator, maybe you want to apply for a new job, maybe you want to start your own business. It's just something like that, you know. And with this tranquility card here, in March, it is very important that you don't rush. You don't take things too quickly, or that you don't try to force things. With this Cast Your Sacred Symbols card here and this Your Light card, you're literally moving at a comfortable pace. Move at a pace that you're comfortable with, and move at a pace that is reasonable, you know. If I feel like the best example I have is like, if you are trying to do content creation, don't burn yourself out, you know. Don't start pumping out like 5 million videos every single day, because what that's going to do is just going to burn you out, you know. And it's like, it's going to burn you out because like maybe you won't get traction right from the get-go, you know. Maybe that'll just stress you out. You know, if you're trying to start a new job, don't go full-time right away, you know. Maybe start part-time, see if you like it first, you know. And you know, if it doesn't even have to do with career, you know, like if you're trying to get back into love, or if you're trying to meet new people again, don't get into a committed relationship right away. Just start talking, seeing what's going on, you know. You know, it's like what I'm thinking of is like tempering the eggs, you know. When you want to mix a large batch of chocolate with eggs, the chocolate's obviously been melted, or it's like hot, you know. You don't want to put the eggs in there right away. You want to temper the eggs. So you put a little bit of chocolate in the eggs first, and you mix them around, and you know, you warm up the eggs, and you increase the temperature of them so that it cooks the eggs but doesn't scramble them, you know. So you pour it back into the chocolate, and then you can mix it in, and the eggs slowly rise in temperature, and they cook and they thicken the chocolate, you know. It's like, that's what I'm sensing for you, pile 3. I'm sensing in March, it's really important that you don't just like dive headfirst into something, or that you don't like get into things really quickly. I feel like a lot of you probably know this, but I'm just saying that it's something that I feel like you need to hear, and something that you'd really want to be confirmed. And I also just feel like, you know, March isn't going to be one of those months where it's like, oh, everything is just happening. It's one of those months where you're gaining more momentum. I feel like for a good portion of you, this has to do with some projects that you've already started. What I'm saying right now isn't something that you're beginning in March. For some of you, maybe. But I feel like for a vast majority of you, it's going to be something that you are, how do I say, like you're continuing on with. You're moving along with it, and you're deciding to commit to it for some of you. And I feel like there's other things that you also want to just bring onto your plate, you know, and there's other things that you want to begin. But with this Your Light card, I just feel like in March, is really all about what you want. And it's about entering a state of being that you resonate with, and entering this mindset that you want to be in, you know. It's like moving along with your life in a way that you want to. There's really no other way for me to describe it, you know. And with this Piscean theme we have going on here, I feel like it's just a great time for you to start daydreaming, a great time for you to start thinking about what it is that makes you happy, you know, bring romance into your life. And what I mean by romance, it's not like you have to literally like talk to somebody, or, you know, romance in the sense like ambient lighting, flowers, and, you know, just good lighting. I feel like good lighting will be very important in March for you, pile 3. And especially with daylight saving times happening in March, girl, you already know the vibe. But if you're with this Cast Your Symbols card here, good grief, what was that? It's very important that you start making a mark now. It's important that you start being more honest with yourself, be more real with yourself. And what I mean by that is, stop trying to please other people. Stop trying to live a life that resonates with other people. Stop trying to be somebody just so that others around you will be satisfied. Stop trying to validate others, or stop trying to like pour all of your resources into pleasing other people, to run away from something within yourself, or something that is denied within yourself. It's not doing anything for you. It's not sustainable anymore. It's not resonating with you anymore. All it's doing is exhausting all of your resources and throwing you into this vicious loophole that is just all about other people and how they feel, as opposed to how you feel and what you want. Why can't it be about you, pile 3? Like, this is literally your life, you know? And I feel like that's a message for some of you that's very important, because I feel like for a good portion of you, you've really cut off a lot of things, you know, old habits, old routines, you know? And it's just, you're really ready for something else. And so March will be kind of a time where you bring stuff that did make you happy. It's like, how do I say? This is going to be a big analogy, but like, imagine moving into a new place, and for some of you, you may be, but regardless of the case there, imagine moving into a new place, you only bring what you absolutely need and what makes you happy with you. Everything else you've donated, gotten rid of, thrown away, given to friends, you know? And so when you move into this new place of strictly what resonates with you and what makes you happy and what you need, like, you know, like silverware, things like that, you've brought that stuff. So you have the foundation for what it is that you need, what you need. But now it's time to fill this place up with things that make you happy, you know? Perhaps your old place, you had furniture that you picked up from places or like off the streets, you know, maybe you got it from like a discount store. Maybe it was just like cheap furniture that you bought at the store that you build yourself, and maybe it got the job done and did make you happy for a while, but now it's just not sustainable. And maybe you got it because other people recommended it to you, but now it's time to get nice furniture. It's time to order online, you know what I'm saying? Take those tests. It's about going to a bunch of different stores and bringing those pieces in that you really like, designer furniture, you know, luxury, you know. It's finally time that, and basically bringing that up, what I'm saying is it's a journey. It's going to be a new adventure in which you're really learning about what it is that makes you happy, and what it is that is truly pleasing to you, and what really matters to you, and what is truly satisfactory to you. And I feel like it will just be a very important time in which you finally decide on things that make you happy, and you finally decide on situations that no longer serve you anymore. And I feel like this time is going to be very transitional for you, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, regardless of the case. Some of you may be moving, but I feel like because that, once again, just that whole theme of letting things go that no longer have anything to do with you, you know, at a physical level, get rid of things that you don't need anymore. At an emotional level, cut off people and situations and habits that no longer serve you anymore, you know? It's like, I don't know if you've been staying up until like 7 a.m. every day and then waking up at like 5 p.m. every day. That's not doing anything for you. It's probably not making you happy. It's not getting you enough sunlight. It's not giving you a sustainable routine. Get rid of it. You know, and if that does work for you, then keep it, you know? I'm just sensing that for a good portion of you up until March, and even this last few weeks of February, or last few days, like, it's just this huge purging cycle where you're literally detoxifying your whole life, and you're finally getting rid of things that no longer have anything to do with how you want to live. And I feel like as a result, what March is gonna be, it's gonna be like this huge adventure where you're learning about yourself, and you're learning about things that truly make you happy, and learning about how to live a life that resonates with you, and getting what you want, you know? So I just feel like March is going to be a very transformative month, in the sense that you've already done the transformation, but now you've unbecome what you no longer want to be, and now it is 100% about becoming what you want to be, because I feel like you've done so much work on yourself. Wow, this pile is really emotional. Oops. Okay, that was weird. These cards are like out to get me, y'all. Anyways, using Old Reliable today, Mrs. Rider-Waite Tarot. Not that this deck's a girl or anything, but you know what I mean? Anyways. Alright. What is going on in Pile 3's March? What is going on in Pile 3's March? What is going on in Pile 3's March? Is going on in Pile 3's March? Oh wow, we had some cards fall out. We'll take those. Okay. For these cards, we have 9 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, Pile 3. March is about to be, you know, we have the Sun. Oh my gosh. And you've seen those cards flop out. Like, as much as I would like to stage that, Just kidding, I would never stage that, but you get the vibe. Then we also have Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and King of Wands. Oh my gosh, pile 3, your reading is beautiful. Page of Cups. You are getting a lot of things that you are deeply desiring. There is something that you really want, pile 3. There is something, when I say that, it's for some of you, maybe more money, it may be more love, more stuff. Just, you know what because we have so many pentacles here. With the Queen of Pentacles, I did hear this message for some of you. Like, I feel like family is involved for a good portion of you. I feel like with this King of Wands and Queen of Pentacles, maybe a mother involved, or maybe I'm just sensing that there's somebody involved with what you want, pile 3. But regardless of the case, that's for some of you, not all of you. That's like a very loose message, and I just wanted to throw it out there for extra confirmation. But with this Page of Cups, oh, and Five of Swords. Oh my gosh, pile 3. This is a beautiful reading. So Five of Swords, let's talk about it because we literally all have heard about the Five of Swords. Five of Swords, it's literally about cutting off things, cutting your losses, and just leaving things as is, even though it may not feel right, or maybe there's still unfinished business. But I feel like you've tried so hard to solve this unfinished business. I feel like you've tried so hard to mediate something, tried so hard to please other people, tried so hard to keep these routines. But you ultimately decided, instead of going about this plan and trying to continue it and put blood tears into it, that same amount of effort into doing something different would literally give me like money, you know? I feel like, literally the Nine of Pentacles, I keep looking at it because you are going to be, like, you're literally going to be doing so well in March. I feel like it's going to be such a fun, fantastic journey for you. Like, we're literally doing alliteration now. That's how great it is. I'm like setting bars down right now, pile 3. Like, I can't explain to you how exciting March is going to be for you because Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, I feel like you're going to be on that grind. I'm sensing a lot of mutable energy here. Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and what's the other one? There's one more. Don't tell me. Gemini. There we go. Sorry, y'all. But I feel like you may have those placements in your chart because Saturn's going to be entering Pisces in March. And I feel like as a result, a lot of you will get what you want along with the responsibilities of it. But I feel like mutable placements have low-key been going through it, but like no one really talked about it because the fixed placements were like also going through it. We were all just going through it, y'all. Let's be real here. Let me not even act like it was just a few of us. Like, it was literally all of us. Like, none of us were like sad. Like, we were all just like, girl, like, I'm tired of this. But I feel like the mutable and fixed placements especially. And I feel like with the mutable placements, it's just like, whether or not you have those placements in your chart, what I'm trying to convey here is that you're going to get what you want in March. And I feel like it's going to be a new journey for you. It's going to be so exciting. And it's just going to be so much fun. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles, you're going to have a lot more freedom in this month. And I feel like in March, like with the Seven of Pentacles, you're going to start new journeys. And I feel like you're finally going to start making progress that you felt like you've been blocked from for literally months now. I feel like there's something that you've been wanting to start, or something that you've been wanting to get, or just there's something that you've been wanting or something that you've been needing to get done, but you haven't been able to because of so many different situations. Perhaps it was pleasing other people or yielding to other people's schedules. Regardless of the case, what I'm trying to say is that there's something that you've been wanting to get done, but you haven't been able to because of the circumstances. And I feel like in March, you'll finally be able to get like a solidified pointer as to where you can go next or how you can go about it. And because of that, it'll just be such a beautiful month for you. And it's just like, there's something that you've been deeply desiring, something that you've been wanting, and you've cut off so many things to get it. And as a result, it's just like, maybe you've been slowly losing hope, or you've been a little bit doubtful, or you've been clinging on to hope. And it's just like, let me tell you, Pile 3, this month, you're finally just going to get it right, just like that. And it's going to happen just seemingly out of nowhere, honestly. And it's just going to be a huge surprise. And I feel like just the minute you start losing hope, you'll finally get it. My stomach just growled really loud. Oh my god. Are you hungry for more? I'm hungry for more, apparently. But, you know, Pile 3, I just feel like March is just going to be a very powerful month for you, and I feel like you're finally going to start getting to places that you want to be, and I feel like it'll finally just be this moment where you're like, wow, like, I didn't know life could be this good. I didn't know that it could be this easy, you know? I don't know, like, I feel like it'll just really please you to get things done. I feel like with this King of Wands and Queen of Pentacles energy, you know, whether or not that does reference actual people in your life, I feel like for a good portion of you, you're going to be in the state of like giving. I feel like you're finally going to reach the state of being more abundant. You know, Queen of Pentacles is a very abundant energy to me, and Queen of Pentacles knows self-care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's earth energy. Ain't no one know how to take care of themselves better than the earth signs. And you know, whether or not you have the earth signs in your chart, what I'm trying to say here is I feel like in March you'll be taking care of yourself better. Because I feel like there was a good portion of time where you weren't able to take care of yourself, or there were circumstances that were preventing you from taking care of yourself and getting the things that you wanted. And as a result, you were just really stressed out or really upset or just really under pressure. But I feel like with this King of Wands here, because you're able to take care of yourself better, as a result, you have more energy. And when you have more energy, pile 3, you're able to go about the things that you want. And because like you're just such a motivated person, and I also just feel like like I said, there's just been these things that you've been wanting to get done for a really long time now, and in March you'll finally be able to get a head start on those things. And those things may be related to finances. And with the King of Wands, I'm sensing that you have some passion projects you'll want to start, and I feel like there's going to be things that you will want to get done, and it will really make you happy, and you'll get a lot of surprises. So yeah, I also have these tea leaf cards here. I'm going to go ahead and lay these out for you, just for a little extra context. So we have Lion, Time to Act, Haystack, Karma, you will reap what you have sown. Absolutely. Harp, great happiness. Candle, you will be shown the way. Oh my gosh. And Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. Honestly, pile 3, I kind of just, like, that's literally it. That it really just summed up the reading for you. But I'm just going to get my 2 cents in and just cut off the reading, because I feel like there's nothing else to say. I feel like you already know what's coming, so I don't want to waste your time. But I just feel like in March, basically what it's going to be about is you're finally going to be getting what it is that you've been wanting. And you're finally going to have a clear pointer as to where you go with the next few months of your life. Because I feel like for a while you felt really lost. And I feel like you didn't know where to go about your life. And basically, I just feel like you were really left in the dark, you know? And I feel like as a result, you had to create your own light. You know, you had to find your own way. You had to, you know, make your own pointers, because no one else was telling you where to go. No one else was helping you, and you felt so useless and you felt so scared and just like, you know, and it's just like you didn't know what to do. And because of that, like, I feel like you were unbecoming what you were not. I feel like that's the only thing you felt like you could do. You were getting rid of things, situations, people, stuff that you didn't resonate with, because you know, I don't know where to go, but I know this stuff isn't going to help you, so let me get rid of it. And as a result, you will be rewarded for that. You will be rewarded for the hardships you face, and you will be rewarded for the sheer amount of effort you put into your life. And I just feel like March is just going to be a month where you finally enter a flow state, or you finally enter a state of being where you can live more comfortably and you can finally start healing. I feel like this is going to be really big for you, pile 3. I feel like in March, you're finally going to be able to heal and properly cope with the things that have happened to you and process what's really gone on for these past few months. But yeah, that's all I'm picking up for you, pile 3. You're reading significantly shorter than the other ones because the message here is so clear. It's so like distinct, and it's just like I really feel like it'll just be me repeating over and over, hey, you'll finally be getting what you want, and you'll finally be able to enter a flow state, and you'll finally be able to start healing and, you know, entering a pathway that you really resonate with. LOL. You know, I also feel like you're just not patient enough to listen to that. Sorry, pile 3. But yeah, that's all I'm sensing for you, pile 3. So thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated with you, and if it did resonate with you, I'm glad, because you deserve this. We love that. But thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose this tiger's eye, then this is going to be your March predictions reading. So I have actually a few oracle cards here, so let's just get right into it. So for your oracle cards, we got number 32, Vitality. You're gonna hear my neighbor's loud car for a few seconds. Ripe Fruits. And Can't Be Caught. So honestly, with this card has Taurus on it. It's ruled by Taurus. And honestly, if you have any fixed placements, March is going to be better for you. And I feel like with this Ripe Fruits card here and the Can't Be Caught, it really does seem as if though in March you're going to pick up a lot more speed and it's going to be a lot more fast paced for you. I feel like maybe for a lot of you, you've been really craving some vitality, or you've been craving some kind of movement, or you've been wanting for things to move a little bit quicker, you know? I just feel like you've been wanting things to go a little bit faster. I feel like maybe some of you have felt really stagnant, or like you've just felt like things aren't moving, you know? I'm just sensing that there's something about your life that you really just want to take off, and you really just want to get cut to the chase. And I'm sensing a lot of like, you know what I mean? Just kind of sitting there, you know, shaking your leg, you know, tapping your nails. You're just like, when is something going to happen? I've done so much. And I feel like in March, suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, it really does seem as if though things are going to start picking up and you're going to start making a lot more money and a lot of abundance is going to come upon you. I feel like for a good portion of you, money is kind of like a big catalyst in your life. But with the Tiger's Eye, if you were so drawn to it, I feel like for a lot of you, you've made a lot of courageous decisions, or you've taken a lot of leaps of faith. And I feel like with these leaps of faith, you've been wanting things to kind of turn out, or you've been wanting things to, how do I say? Like you've just been wanting for something to give in, you know, like you done all that you needed to do, you know, you took that leap of faith, you did what you wanted to do, you got rid of things that were no longer resonating with you, you know? I don't know, like, I just feel like this laid back energy of this reading, I just feel like it's really calm and collected compared to the other piles. The other piles, like, there's something going on in them. But I feel like with this one, it's just this sense of, like, you're ready for the drama to stop. You're ready for things to just be the way that you want them to be. You're ready to just develop a steady routine and just have a better lifestyle. I feel like for a good portion of you, like there's just so many qualities about your lifestyle leading up until March that were just so unfavorable and maybe kind of stressed you out or made you feel some type of way. And in March, things will kind of start finally ironing themselves out, you know, and kind of just like working out. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that were kind of left up in the air, especially in terms of like career and finances, that were just kind of like freaking you out, or just kind of like leaving you like, hey, like, what do y'all want me to do? I've applied to these jobs, I got denied, I took that leap of faith, and I'm starting to like worry a little bit. I'm like, come on. I'm just sensing like that. I feel like that's kind of the motto for this reading, like, come on now, you know? And I just feel like a lot of you have been kind of frustrated and a little bit annoyed, and I feel like March is finally the month where it's kind of like, oh, finally, you know? Where things start giving in for you, things kind of just start working out, and things kind of start to like show themselves, you know? I feel like for a good portion of you leading up until this point, the growth, like I said, was very slow, a little bit painstaking, a little bit frustrating, because it's like you were expected to do all this work and labor and inner work just for so little payback, and you're like, this is so backwards. Like, why am I doing so much for so little? I should be doing so little for so much, you know? And because of that, I'm just sensing this very frustrated energy. Like, it's kind of even hard to like tag on to your energy or to tag on to this reading, because it feels as if though like you felt so bottled up, or you felt so like, maybe for some of you even like frozen in fear. And with the snake card here, I actually read the guidebook for all of these cards, and it said that for vitality, this card, be careful as to who you associate with, and be careful who you tell the good news to, and also beware of temptations, because I was watching a video and ironically it was talking about how snakes represent like temptation and like desire. And also to me, like obviously in like pop culture, snakes are referred to as someone like that is talking behind your back, or someone that's like dishonest, you know? So be wary of that. Be wary of the temptations And when I say temptations, what I'm trying to say is like there's things that are going to try to lure you in, or there's going to be situations that you literally know you're not supposed to participate in, but it's just going to be very tempting, you know, like gossip or talking about someone. It's kind of taboo, it's kind of a controversial subject. We all gossip, and that's the reality, but I feel like there's a difference between like gossiping and blatantly talking smack about someone, and not to like justify it or like to say that like, oh, like it's good or like it's necessary. It just happens. But there's a clear difference between being mean and just kind of like talking, you know? Because everyone talks, but it's just like, and I feel like that's kind of like the situation here. I feel like that even goes into that whole idea of temptation, like me sitting here trying to be like, oh, like gossiping is like it's gonna happen, you know. But the reality of it is that it's not really correct, and it can really hurt someone's feelings. And at that point, it's just like it should be avoided altogether if it takes that much explanation, I guess. So take me as an example, I guess. But with this snake being that, I just feel like there's also this sense of like there will be people trying to work against you behind your back, so be wary of these people. And you know who I'm talking about. There's people in your life that really don't want you to succeed, or people that have been doubting you up until this point. So it's like if they've been doubting you while you're struggling, then when you're succeeding, they really don't need to be a part of your life, you know. I always like saying this quote in at least one of the piles because I feel like it's such a powerful quote. But it was like, if the space you kept from me during my struggles, I'm going to need you to double it during my success, you know? And maybe you've heard that in another pile in another video, but I feel like that's a really important message for you, pile 4, you know? Don't tolerate people that don't want to be there for you when you're struggling, you know? And it's like, I'm sensing this energy of if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will, you know? You're doing the things that you want to do because it's important to you. And if it's not important to other people or other people looking down on it, then that's their problem and it has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally because it's too easy for people to project onto you. I feel like you're heavily influenced by other people's opinions, or you're heavily influenced by what people want to say. And I feel like if you do have Taurus in your chart, I feel like I'm a Taurus moon too, and I just feel like as a Taurus, one big thing is you want people to talk to you and you want to hear what you want to hear. You know, like you don't want to hear what you don't want to hear. And I feel like that's like a common Taurus thing, I don't know. But I just feel like you'll do anything to persuade people to agree with you, but it's like you already agree with yourself from the get-go, so it's like, why do you need other people's approval, or why do you need other people's go-ahead when it's not even their life to live or their dreams to experience, you know? So I feel like a good message from March is that don't do anything that doesn't resonate with you, or don't do something or don't say something just for the sake of pleasing other people, and don't give up on yourself. And obviously that's like a given, you know, don't ever give up on yourself, but I feel like the message is especially important for you because maybe the growth has been so slow and the results have been so like almost non-existent that it was just like kind of frightening or like exhausting and frustrating to you. But it's just like, understand in March you'll really start to see things start to come into fruition. You'll start to see like slow and steady really does win the race, you know? And I don't know, I'm thinking because from an outside perspective, pile 4, it's really easy to see that your life will literally turn out the way you want it to, and it will literally work out in all the ways that you could have possibly imagined, but you're getting in your own way. And I'm saying that because I keep thinking of these romance novels I've read where the characters go through so many hardships, and in the moment they really don't know what's going to happen. But when you're reading the book, you obviously know that it's going to have a happy ending, and you know that things are going to work out for the characters in the first place. Like when you pick up the book, you know everything's going to work out for the better. So I feel like that's kind of the vibe that I'm picking up for your pile, in the sense that if someone else were to look at your life, or if I were to, like, you know, just looking at this reading, just know like everything is working out for you, and you need to resonate with what's working out for you. You need to live as if though like you've already achieved it. And I feel like people kind of like, I feel like that's kind of like a nuanced way of saying it, because people are always like, oh, like I can't just spend money like I have money, or like, you know, like I literally don't have money. But it's just like the reality of it is that you can at least say it in a more less abrasive way, you know. If you just blatantly say to yourself these negative affirmations or like these negative things, that's how it's gonna be. Practice positive affirmations and build yourself up on a daily basis, and as you do that, March will improve, you know. it's just like I'm sensing that in March things will really give in for you, and you'll really start to make a lot more money, and you'll really start to get a lot of things that you've been wanting, relationships, all of the sorts, any Venusian themes, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and good things are coming to you. But if you just keep talking down on yourself negatively, you're not going to understand that good things are coming to you. If someone puts a good thing in front of you, in front of your face, then you're going to be like, oh, well, it's not this, or I still don't have this. Like, oh, great, I have that, but I still want this, It's just like your perspective and how you speak to yourself in March will really heavily impact your experience in March, because you're going to get a lot of things that you've been craving deep down for quite a while now. But because, like, you're going to be susceptible to wanting other people's opinion, other people's approval, or something else, it'll just cause a lot of discourse in your wishes being granted and what you want, or like how you feel. And so I just feel like in March, physically good things are happening, but emotionally I feel like you're not going to feel, I feel like it's going to be anticlimactic if you don't hype yourself up, if you don't like let yourself enjoy the good things that you've been reaping, So let me get into the tarot here. I feel like I'm like making no sense right now, but what I'm trying to say is that like you're going to get what you want, but the perspective is going to be the problem. And I kept saying this in one of the other piles because it's true. I feel like if you keep focusing on the negatives, or if you keep focusing and you keep stressing out over literally nothing, then there's going to be things that manifest to actually stress you out, because you're living in that like concept, you're living in that reality, And it's just like, you need to stop seeking other people's approval. And you also need to like stand up for what you believe more. You need to stand up for what you want more, and you need to be more proud of it, because you're doing really good things. With this Right Fruits card here and Can't Be Caught, like you're literally going to be doing so much in March. Like you're going to be, something's going to, I feel like when I say something's going to give in, like that last, like that job offer is finally going to go through, the application's finally going to go through, that person's finally going to text you back, you're finally going to reach that specific amount of followers, you're finally going to get that check in the mail that you've been waiting for, What's going on in pile 4's March? Oh wow, that was loud. So we have Temperance, I guess, just flopped out. What's going on in pile 4's March? Alright, what do we have? We have the Devil. The High Priestess. Okay, Major Arcana. 7 of Swords. Yeah. Knight of Cups. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have 10 of Swords in reverse. Wow. I usually don't get reversals like that. But with the 10 of Swords in reverse, I feel like you're overcoming something. I feel like you've been healing from something, pile 4. I feel like there's a lot of trauma that you faced in the past few months or even years. Whatever the time frame is, I just feel like a good portion of you have really suffered, or you've really dealt with a lot of hardships, or you've really dealt with things that just really stressed you out. And maybe this is kind of your upbringing, or this is when you can finally address your feelings and you can finally like comfortably live and process what's happened to you and enter a better state of being. And I feel like as a result, with this Devil card here and the 7 of Swords, it's very possible for you to attract negative situations by you focusing on the wrong things. And with this High Priestess card, pile 4, you very much know what you've been working for, and you very much know what you deserve. But I'm sensing this energy of feeling like you don't deserve it, or feeling like scared of what you want. Feeling scared of what you want because you feel like it'll not come to you, or it won't happen, or that like it'll take so much more work or effort or something of the sorts, or that maybe you're wrong about something, or maybe like you're mistaken that there's something else for you and you need to start with that instead. But I'm sensing that there's something that you want and you've been working at it for a while, and honestly, pile 4, like you deserve it, and you deserve to reap the the rewards. You deserve to reap the benefits of it, and you deserve to finally start getting what it is that you've been wanting and working towards. And I feel like with the Temperance card, you've really been going at it, like you've been trying really hard, in the sense that like you've just been working, pile 4, like you've been keeping you've been so diligent about balancing your emotions, balancing your schedule, trying to practice, trying to, how do I say, like, cope with your emotions and hang on and not participate in too many bad habits, not, focus too hard on the wrong things. I feel like this has been an uphill battle for you, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And it was no easy feat to getting to where you're about to be. But I feel like if you go in, when going into this era, it's important you don't let any residual energy ruin it for you. And also the Seven of Swords, like I said, there are going to be people talking about you. There are going to be people who have their name in your mouth, or your name in their mouth. And there are going to be people trying to work against you behind your scenes, or trying to capitalize on your hard work. This is like the biggest example I have, but if you have a lot of followers on social media, people are going to flock to you, be like, oh, can you shout me out, that vibe, you work so hard for something, only for somebody who wasn't even that supportive of you from the beginning, try to capitalize and trying to like make moves and take advantage of like the fact that you're such a giving person, and you're somebody that's really starting to make it in ways that they wish they could. And you know who I'm talking about. There are people, like, I don't mean to scare you. I don't mean to be like, oh, these are people that you know about, and these are people you very much understand that don't like you, or have this weird energy about you, or have been sending you like the evil eye or something. Wear evil eye during March, or be conscious of the fact that you will be like getting looked at a lot during this month. And I feel like that's because you're about to take off. Like, you're literally about to blast off. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just like, I feel like with this High Priestess card, some of you may be feeling it too. Some of you may be feeling like you're getting pulled back just to be launched forward, Ironic because we have Sagittarius here. You could also be Capricorn. But I feel like with this Ten of Swords in reverse, oh, Nine of Pentacles. Beautiful card here. I feel like what's happening is that you're finally overcoming some betrayals, and you're finally overcoming some pain that you've felt leading up until this point. With this Ten of Swords, like, both upright and reverse, it doesn't matter. It just signifies that something really happened, and that there was like a really painful ending. And I feel like this painful ending happened quite a while for you, Pile 4, and I feel like you've been waiting for it to feel like it's finally in the past now. Just know, Pile 4, in March, it doesn't, or at all, anytime, but I feel like especially in March, it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is where you are, and where you're gonna be at. Where you are and where you're gonna be at are pretty much the same thing. Where you want to be, you need to like practice feeling like you're already there. And once that happens, it's just gonna be so much easier for you to manifest. It's gonna be so much easier for you to tap into the reality that you want to be a part of. And the best way that you can do that is, I don't feel as if though there's a bunch of specific things that you can do. I feel like that's kind of stressful, but there are things that you can avoid, and there are things you can get rid of in order to prevent bad juju, or prevent like bad energy from tainting you. And when I say that, I feel like the Seven of Swords here, I literally can't express to you how important it is that you keep your business to yourself, and that you don't tell anyone about your successes. Maybe, like really close friends or people you absolutely trust, but also even then, like, keep it pretty brief and keep it watered down, because I just feel like there's going to be something going on, and like, I don't know, like, I'm just sensing like gas leak energy. I don't know, like, people are just going to be looking at you, good or bad, people are going to be admiring you. And oh, I just thought of TikTok. I remember a really long time ago, my friend sent me this TikTok, and this girl posted pictures of herself, and everyone was commenting on her teeth. They were like, OMG, your teeth are so nice. Your teeth are so pretty. And then like a few days later, like something like broke her teeth. And it's just like, understand that sometimes compliments and that, attention can be bad, and that sometimes it's backhanded, and sometimes it's out of jealousy, as opposed to the fact that it's really like they admire you. And I feel like all that negative attention can, like, all positive attention is like, it's subjective. It could be negative attention, and I feel like it's kind of like gray, because in the sense that like, like, if people are hating on you, they're literally your biggest fans. And if people are loving on you, they just might be your biggest hater. You know what I'm saying, Pile 4? And with that logic, be very careful as to who you associate with in March. Because like I said, you're going to be getting a lot of good things. And I feel like maybe for some of you, it won't even be about your own perspective, but about the perspective other people are trying to like intertwine into your brain, or another narrative that other people are trying to like force on you. It's like people are going to try to like downplay your success, or be like, oh, that's great, I'm saying if you accomplish something in March and people aren't literally screaming, crying, and doing jumping jacks for you because like they're so happy for you, you don't need to be around them because that's what you would probably do for them. So it's like, don't be around anyone that doesn't match up to your energy, pile 4. And I just feel like in March, it's just going to be a sense of like, you're finally healing and recovering. And as you do so, you're really going to look back and you're really going to finally understand that there are plenty of people in your life that don't need to be there. And in fact, they pretty much slowed down your recovery process and made you feel a lot worse when you thought they were making you feel good, you know, like soda. Like soda is so amazing. It tastes so good, but it's literally so bad for you. And because of that, like, you need moderation. Like, soda's fun, but it's like, friends can be fun too, but that don't mean they're good for you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I have some tea leaf cards here, and I'm so excited to show you these because they've been providing a lot of insight in all the readings. So let's get right into them. We have ink pot, problems to be resolved. Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. Goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. Hammock, taking a vacation physically or mentally. And bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. Definitely. I feel like you're going to get out of a rut. Or with this elephant card, I feel like this is talking about the journeys you've already been a part of, you know, the things that you've already dealt with. And I feel like it's going to be such a good month for you, pile 4. And I hate to just generalize it like that. I mean, oh, it's going to be like a really good month, pile 4. But truly, I feel like you've worked so hard. And I do feel like a lot of things went unaddressed in your life. I feel like there were some problems or some miscommunications leading up until this point that you really want to kind of iron out, or you really want to just kind of, you know, smooth out before you move along with your life. Or there's things that you want to get rid of. I feel like March is going to be a huge spring cleaning month. Ironic because it's March, spring. But I also feel like it's just going to be like this huge decluttering month where you finally get rid of things that no longer serve you. And you're finally able to make room for the things that make you happy and finally things that make you feel good. Some of you may be moving physically. Some of you may be moving homes. And I feel like for a lot of you, you've been hoping for that. And I just feel like even if it isn't that, it's just going to be like a very transitional month because I feel like things and habits that you've been participating in or like a lifestyle that like you were forced into seemingly beforehand, it's just not serving you anymore. I feel like maybe a life that you have right now, the life that you're living right now, maybe you had to fabricate it out of survival, or maybe you had to like create a version of yourself to survive. Release yourself from these ideals and release yourself from these versions of yourself. Forgive yourself and move forward. And I feel like it's just like you work so hard to not be what you don't want to be and become who you identify with. You know, basically what I'm trying to say is you've worked so hard to become who you want to be and live the life that you want. So don't let people that were like all like, you know, like half-ass, you know, supporting you. It's like, don't let them be a part of that success. If they don't want to be there, if they only want to be there for the good times, then it's just like, girl, bye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like this reading is just mixed energy because I feel like a lot of you are watching this reading hoping that like March won't be the way other months have been in the past, and I'm here to tell you it won't be, and it'll be a very refreshing month, and it'll finally be a time where you can let go of things and you can finally apply the hardships and lessons that you faced and learned in the past and really apply them here. And once you do that, you'll finally realize, hey yo, like I don't deserve any of these things. I don't deserve bad perspectives or bad vibes. I'm literally just trying to get what I want just like anybody else. And so it's just like when you have that epiphany, it's finally going to be easier for you to move forward in your life. I'm sensing a lot of previous heavy energy in this reading, and I'm sensing that March is going to be like where you can finally like run away and you can finally get away and understand that like where you've been is strictly left in the past. So yeah, I think I'm going to sum up your March by saying, pile 4, your March is going to be beautiful. It's literally going to be you shedding old skin and you getting rid of things and situations that no longer resonate with you and solving problems that seemingly felt like they had no solution, and finally applying all the lessons you've learned, and as a result like reaping what you've worked so hard for, and you know, reaping the rewards and finally getting what you want, and finally start seeing your hard work paying off. I feel like it's going to be the beginning of your hard work paying off, and it's going to snowball into amazing things later on. And let me just tell you, like, I feel like for some of you could be taking a vacation or you could be traveling with this hammock card here. Or, you know, if it isn't a literal vacation, I just feel like, once again, all boils down to the fact that March is going to be a month where you can finally chillax. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated, in which I hope it did because that was beautiful, then like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, I love you so much. Bye.